And the girl who was doing it on TikTok was like, oh my God, my skin is so like flawless and airbrushed. I have no pores. All right, this is super random. And to be completely honest with you, it's not exactly what I was planning on filming. But I sat down and I was like, this is what we're gonna do today. I want to create a Hollywood base for some reason. That's literally it. This like kind of flawless skin, glowy, you know. Siva, what are you playing with over there? Hey, here, play with this concealer. Hey, concealer. That's basically what I want to do today. That's it. I want to play with that and see how we can, like, if we can do it. This all started because I had like just the craziest morning and I was watching a TikTok and there was this girl who was like, oh, all the makeup artists, like the Hollywood base or whatever is essentially like the Charlotte Tilbury Flawless Filter and then a skin tint. This always happened to me when I film. I thought I would try that. So I know my skin already looks like relatively glowy. It's because I went in with my Oven Clean and Hydra Moisturizer and then the Pipette sunscreen, which is relatively hydrating. So my skin is feeling a little bit tacky right now because I put it on a little while ago and the glow usually like diminishes over time. So I'm gonna do exactly what they said to do, what this TikTok said to do. But what I'm gonna do instead is I'm going to use the Auric new Morganite formula, reformula, or I don't know if this is like a new formula, but it's a different color. It's slightly more vanilla than the original. So I'm gonna use that and then I'm going to use for my skin tint, the Ilia Super Serum Skin Tint. I don't know if you guys remember when I used this a while back, but it smelled like dead flesh. And I think I got a bad one because this one smells fine. I was like, I should probably revisit this shit. Yeah, this one's completely fine. I don't know what happened with that last one, dude. Anyway, so I'm gonna put a little bit of this on the back of my hand to begin with because I don't have the Hollywood, I used to have the Charlotte Tilbury thing, but I don't anymore. So I'm gonna pop this in like the major areas of my face because that's kind of like what I saw this chick do. That was way too much. And then my assumption is that like you can essentially use pretty much any foundation with this. You don't necessarily have to use a skin tint, but it makes sense to me, you know? Oh, I should have done my concealer first. No, it's okay. We can do that after. So then I'm gonna use the skin tint. This is in the shade Tulum, T-U-L-U-M. Once again, I'm gonna put this on the back of my hand. I feel like for a skin tint, this is like pretty coveragey. And I'm gonna, I wonder if this was too light. I actually don't remember. Kinda, I don't know, fill in the gaps with this. So I'm gonna go in with a damp sponge because that's what they said to do. And basically just start blending this around my whole face. And the girl who was doing it on TikTok was like, oh my God, my skin is so like flawless and airbrushed. I have no pores. So I was like, that's interesting. I feel like I'm just gonna end up looking like way too glowy. But we're gonna do like the full face. Like I'm gonna layer, I'm gonna do cream blushes and stuff. Now, the reason I'm doing this over sunscreen is because sunscreen's fucking important to me. You know, I wanna protect my son. I wanna protect my son that I don't have. I wanna protect my skin from the sun. So right now, I would say I look wet. I don't know if my skin looks poreless. I feel like this makes sense to start to do on like a matte base, you know? I look wet. Let's continue though, because I'm gonna use powder. I wanna do like the full on Hollywood base, you know what I mean? So I'm going to do a little bit of color correction under my eyes with my Sicily color corrector. This is actually the concealer in #1, I believe. So one of the things about red carpet makeup, I mean, there are a lot of different makeup artists out there, so that all have different techniques, but there's a lot of layering because the makeup is meant to last, you know, and also show up in photos. So typically they like to layer a lot of like creams and powders, but I would say generally light layers of those things, which is something that it's a technique that I used to use a lot. All right, so now I'm gonna go in with my L'Oreal Infallible Concealer. This is in the shade Ivory. And I'm gonna use this to do a little bit of shaping, a little bit of highlighting, and concealing. And then once again, I'm gonna go in with a damp sponge. I kind of wanted to try a different base or a slightly more glam base just because I've moved so far away from full coverage. So I just kind of want to see like if I can do it. I mean, my skin looks very, very glowy, but like in a wet way. All right, so I'm gonna start building up cream, contour, and bronzer and blush. But I'm gonna use very small amounts. So first I'm gonna go in with my Fenty Matchstick in Amber to do a little bit of contouring. So I'm going to lay this in first. Just gonna kind of like, I'm basically like using the lightest hand just to like kind of dot it, you know? So that I'm not going in with way too much because like I said, I want this to be something that is really going to last. So I'm gonna do kind of a combination of powders and creams. And if you go in with a ton of cream and then you go in with a powder after that, it's just gonna look like, you know, way too much. I'm gonna blend all of that out. Somebody recommended the Ulta MD UV Glow since the Ulta MD UV Clear has just been like a little too drying for me recently. So I literally ordered that like as soon as that person recommended it. So thank you for recommending. I'm very excited to try it. Should be here today actually. Because while I do like the Pipette sunscreen a lot and it's so much more affordable, it's like $12. It does make me look like a little too glowy, but we'll see. I'm also being a little bit like general with the blend of all of these because I just want like a general indication essentially of the contour and also like the warmth and stuff because I'm going to be able to go back in at the end with a little bit of powder, and if there's any, you know, anything that needs evening out, not evening out, if there's anything that needs a little bit more precision, I can go ahead and do that. Okay, so now I'm going to go in, don't mind this, I'm not going to be using that side, but all my brushes are dirty because you know me, I suck at life. So now I'm going to go in with my cream bronzer, the new one from Tower 28. This is the Bronzino in Gold Coast. Just gonna do like a light indication. So one of the reasons that moisture is so important when they're doing these like red carpet looks is because they do go in with a powder to make sure that, and by powder I mean like a setting powder, to make sure that everything is staying in place. And if you are putting powder down on like dry skin, then obviously the finish is not gonna look very good, right? So you wanna make sure that you're aggressively hydrating before you go in with your powder, which is why if you ever watch any of these like makeup tutorials by like Patrick Ta or Makeup by Mario, they spend so much time on the skincare. So do keep that in mind. You don't have to use all of those products, but you do kind of want like a glowy finish to begin, or a glowy look to begin with. For cream blush, I'm gonna go in with Dominique Cosmetics Soft Pink. This is such a beautiful blush, I love it. I'm using this Melt Cosmetics Rubor number 78 brush. So I'm just gonna pick that up on the brush. I need a different brush. I'm gonna use this Fenty 125 face brush to apply that. Oh, that might be too much now. And I'm going in, I've been going in with the blush recently. I'm gonna start off by setting underneath my eyes using my LC Cosmetics setting powder, which is in the shade Light Medium. So making sure my under eyes are nice and blended. And then I'm gonna stamp this underneath my eyes. Taking that on my nose. And put a little bit between my brows. basically like all the areas that I need to mattify a bit. Chin. All right, I am going to do a little bit of baking, so I'm going to use that sponge. I'm not, but like not really. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to place this directly under my eyes where I want to brighten. Then I'm going to take it down the side of my nose where I want to like narrow it a little bit. So basically like just this whole area right here. So sweeping it underneath my eyes, and then I'm immediately going to dust it away. Which might sound crazy, but if you feel like you want to bake, but it always makes your under eyes like super dry or whatever, do that. Because you can probably see that difference, like it really airbrushes by placing it down, but it won't dry it out. I don't know, this is the way I like to do it. Like if I feel like I want to really brighten. Okay, we're looking pretty. So now what I want to do is I want to set my face with a foundation powder. So I am actually going to be using the e.l.f. Camo Powder Foundation. This is in Fair 140W. I'm going to use this one, but let me just say, I would probably be using this one by La Mer, but I wanted to give you a drugstore option. This is the Rare Beauty, I think it's just the powder brush. I actually don't even know. I use this for blush mostly, and I'm going to just tap it in to the powder, and then I'm going to tap it off, so I'm not going in with a lot. And then I'm just going to use this to set my whole face. I'm only using like that small amount. Okay, so now I'm going to basically do everything that I did with powder to just build that up. So I'm going to start off with my contour. Once again, I'm going to use my Wayne Goss contour powder. So this is the Radiance Boosting Face Powder palette. I'm using the lightest one. And this is a Revlon brush. So I'm going to go over everything with a super light hand and just build it up. So since we did like a little bit more of a general fill before, you can keep this a little bit tighter, like for a little bit more definition and like refining. I'm using my REPHR 13 brush for my lips and nose. I'm actually giving this e.l.f. Halo Glow Powder another try, just in my T-zone, where I'm like very dewy. Because I'll be honest, I don't love that right now. And somebody else was like, you need to give this another shot, so I was like, okay. So I am. Now I want to build up my bronzer a little bit. So I'm actually going to use like a highlighting brush for a little bit more precision. And I'm going to go over that cream highlight with my NARS San Juan powder bronzer. So if you use the same thing to like contour and bronze with, depending on your skin tone or whatever, obviously you can just kind of combine those steps. Now I'm going to use my powder brush. I'm going to use that Rare Beauty brush. And I'm going to apply the, this is unfortunately out of stock, I think, but this is the MAC Fluorescent Glow Play Blush, which is just like so freaking pretty. It's that lavender blush. And this is like slightly different, but I think it really complements the Dominique Cosmetics blush, the cream blush that we used. My eyelids always have that like crease of white in them now because when I put my sunscreen on, it just like builds up in my crease of my eye. It's very annoying, but like, yeah, that's all it is. Just want to let you know. All right, and then as far as highlight, like we essentially used a highlighter with the base, like the skin tint, which does look really nice. I have to say my only criticism is that like for me personally, this area of my face is just like, it just gets kind of oily, you know? Everything else, I think, like literally every other part of my face, I think looks stunning. It's just right there, which I believe is just like a combination of using those products, those glowy products, and my Pipette sunscreen, which is just very wet. Okay, so what is kind of interesting about this so far is that like it looks so natural, you know? Minus my nose contour, which I like, I don't know, dude. I like forgot how to do that. It's just like never good. But yeah, it looks so like lightweight and nice on my skin. I've been wanting to use this, what is this? What the fuck is that? Oh, Givenchy highlighter. This is 10 Organza, I believe. And it's just like a combo of like this gold and this kind of like nudie pink. And I've been wanting to use it for a long time, so I'm going to. This is from like a holiday collection that I've had for like ever. I've just never touched it. Ooh, this might be too dark. We're gonna try it anyway. So using the same kind of brush that I used to do my bronzer, I'm dipping it into the cap, swirling it around. I'm gonna tap it off, and then I'm gonna just go over my, all their shit is so for perfumey, it's ridiculous. Anyway, I'm just gonna go all over my cheeks. Up to my temple. Definitely gives me color. Definitely gives me color. Dude, the perfume is like, it's a little much. I'll be honest, it's a little much. To finish off, just because like you can do this if you want like that extra dimension, I'm gonna go in with my Vesca highlight. This is in the shade Moonlight, and it's just this really beautiful vanilla shade. And I'm gonna use that same brush, but I'm gonna dust this just on the tops of the cheekbones, the very tops, to add kind of a dimension to that highlight. So you get like a nice glow from everywhere. Okay, so I put on a brow and some lips. I'm interested to hear your thoughts on this look. Maybe it's just because like my technique has changed so much over time, but I have like this beautiful structure and color and shape to my face without it really looking like I have makeup on, in my opinion. I don't know how you guys feel about it. The only place where I can like see quite a bit, or not quite a bit, but like where it's sort of noticeable to me is in this area where I was just like producing a lot of oil. I would be interested to try this over my Ulta MD sunscreen because the only reason that I didn't, and I haven't really been using it as much, is because it's made my skin a little bit more dry. And my skin was literally like dry and peeling like 2 days ago. So I just wanted to be extra moisturized. All right, guys, thank you for watching. I would like to get your opinion. Oh, you know what I didn't do? I didn't contour my nose with powder. No, wait, I did. Oh my God, I'm so drunk. I'm not, but like metaphorically, or like in spirit. My spirit animal is wasted right now. Personally, I just wanted to do this for me. I kind of wanted to see where I was at. And I see now that I'm just down with like very, very minimal, supernatural, like glowy layers, you know? I just kind of feel like this part of my face is just like amazing. Like, oh, those cheeks. Look at the cheeks. You know how people have been putting highlight down here? I'm like, bitch, I don't even need that. Look at that shiny ass jaw. All right, guys, thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Let me know what you want to see next. And that's it. Bye.